We return with a Fox News alert. You're looking live at the Offa prison in West Bank, where we're expecting to see Palestinian prisoners freed at any moment. Meanwhile, at the Rafah border crossing, Hamas is expected to hold up their end of the swap later today and release a second wave of Israeli hostages. Former Navy SEAL Team 3 Commander Jocko Willink joins us now. Jocko, thank you for getting up and being on with us, brother. Happy Thanksgiving. Listen, there's a lot to this. I want to talk about the tactical side of it, but first let's talk about a hostage recovery or a hostage rescue. I know you've got a little bit of experience in that, and tell us kind of what you think we can expect from it.
So nothing more rewarding than doing a hostage rescue. I had the honor of doing a hostage rescue over in Iraq. We were able to rescue a 15-year-old Iraqi that had been taken to the city of Fallujah and moved to Ramadi, and we were able to take down that target and get him back and return him to his parents. Definitely a very rewarding operation, but it's also a very risky operation, and there's a lot of challenges behind it. So you got to be careful when you do it.
You know, one thing I've brought up a time or two, and I'm speaking from training, not experience. You know, those are two very different things. But when you have a hostage rescue, what information and intelligence you can gather from the hostages that sometimes they don't even realize they know. Do you have any experience in that, or would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, so I think you're going to see that with these hostages being freed from Gaza. They're obviously going to undergo some serious intelligence debriefing, and they're going to try and give as much information as they possibly can. And I'm sure that will be very helpful for how the Israelis conduct themselves in the coming weeks and months.
Yeah, there's 240 we think are hostages, but we don't know really what that number is or how many of those people are still alive, unfortunately. Let's talk about the tactical side of this. So a big part of this deal was that Israelis would stop surveillance in totality in certain areas and for certain hours of the day in other areas. They also have stopped their assault. And a lot of people say the only reason this opportunity came was because of the effectiveness of the assault. We've also learned that Hamas retreated from the north and is basically fortifying the south. Where do you see this going tactically if and when this war starts back up?
I actually agree with that assessment. I think that the reason that the Hamas is making these negotiations right now is I don't think they have a choice. I think they're in a siege warfare situation that they weren't really prepared for. I think the Israelis are prepared for siege warfare. You can see that they've slowed down. They're being very methodical. They're taking their time, and that's exactly what I think they should do.
You know, a lot of people think that this isn't just a war with Hamas, it's a war with Iran. When we broaden our view here from the Gaza Strip, we look at the region in its totality, there are 73 attacks that have come on U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria. We're talking about Hezbollah. We're talking about the Houthi rebels sending what we believe were long-range missiles. We're talking about a lot of factions, but let's talk about these nearly 80 attacks on the U.S. And where do you see that going? Is it surprising that a U.S. service member hasn't been killed?
It is surprising and lucky that a U.S. service member hasn't been killed. I also think that it's a sign that, look, Iran probably wants to chirp a little bit and make some noise, but I don't think they really want to bring the thunder of the United States of America.
You're sitting there, you're a leader. You're going to talk to some troops. You're sitting at one of those bases. You see that you're getting attacked and rocketed. You don't know exactly what your political leadership is going to expect of you. What do you say as a small unit leader to those troops that are out there?
Same thing we always say in the military, which is we're going to be ready for anything that comes our way. That's what we do. We're the United States, and we're going to be prepared.
Jocko, thank you for your service. Thank you for joining us this morning. And most importantly, thank you for your expertise right now. We truly appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Joey. Good to talk to you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.